Saturday morning, stretching and yawning. No cannabis sativa needed, just cereal and my TV. I flip it to channel 5, USWA. See, that's where the story started. Fast forward to present day. Whether it's WWE or AEW, this podcast is just an excuse to talk about what I love. Introducing your host, the untouchable J.R. Rackins. On the Black Venus Network, this is Talmbout Rasslin. Hello, wrestling fans. Welcome to another edition of Talking About Wrestling right here on the Black Venus Network. You already know what it is. I'm your host, the untouchable J.R. Atkins, and this is episode 52 of your primary destination for wrestling conversation. Booyah! Just working on tweaking it. Just working on tweaking it a little bit. We gotta keep it fresh. We gotta keep it fresh. Okay, we gotta keep the people tuning in. All right, we gotta do the things. All right. Again, it is episode 52. And if you are new, make sure that you hit that like, share, subscribe. Those are the things. Like, share, specifically subscribe. Okay, we are on the road to 50 subscribers. That's very modest. All right, very modest in terms of what I'm trying to get here on Substack. If YouTube's your thing, you can actually subscribe over there too. Again, talking about wrestling. It's Black Phoenix brand on YouTube, right? Black Fitness Network on Substack, brand on YouTube. So you can do that. Or if you want to listen on Spotify, if you don't want to see this face, you can listen on Spotify. I don't know why you wouldn't, because I'm cute. But if you want to listen on Spotify, you can listen on Spotify as well. Talking about wrestling there. Make sure you leave a rating and a review. Make sure you leave comments. All things. We are expanding soon. The Talking About Wrestling or the wrestling content here on the Black Phoenix Network and on the YouTube stuff as well. So stay tuned for that. I got some things coming in. I'm going to have some guests. And still working on how I'm going to do all of that. Got to talk to some people, work some things out, figure some things out. That's a lot. But I'm going to do it. But in the meantime, in between time, again, we're on the race to 50 subscribers by the end of this year. I'm already at like 20 something. So 50 by the end of the year is where I'm trying to get to. And the year is running out fast. It's the middle of August. Actually, it's past the middle. It's past the middle of August. We're on the back end. It'll be September in like a week or two. Okay? All in is next weekend. So running out of time. So stop waiting, stop procrastinating, come do the things, hit that subscribe button. We're going to talk about some wrestling because things are picking up. We are fastly approaching. I mean, fastly approaching. All in is next weekend in AEW Live. It is next weekend. This coming up, Dynamite will be the go home Dynamite. And let me tell you, I am very excited about this show. Very excited. It more and more every single week. I'm more and more excited about where we're going, what we're going to get. These feuds are being built. You know, we can talk. It's funny, man. These companies do these, like, when we talk WWE and we talk AEW, and there's always like boom periods, and there's some. It's so interesting because it's like sometimes WWE will be riding high, sometimes AEW will be riding high, and it just kind of goes back and forth, right? TNA sometimes will get on a hot streak, NXT will be on a hot streak. So the business just works like that. AEW definitely has the hot hand right now going into All In, very similar to what they had last year going into All In. So it's funny for this to be their big show, their big marquee event. In simple terms, their quote unquote WrestleMania. I think it started as All Out, but once we introduced All In, then that's what it became. For this to be that show, I think I said this last week, the hype leading in has been so much higher for All In for at least the last 2 years. 40 was definitely very hype, I must say. And I think even you could say that for 39 too. Um, since 40, 41, and 42, the hype has not been there at all. And has been for All In. So really interesting to see that there. And again, that's not to make a tribalism thing, just for my particular perspective. The main events, the card for Mania has kind of always, and then even just the execution, especially like this last one with all the ads and all of that, like, you know, it's kind of what it's become. Um, and it was kind of a similar thing last year. Not as much. This year definitely was less well received than last year, I believe. So there's that. But we're not here to. I'm trying not to compare. Trying not to compare. But I'm definitely very much looking forward to All In. Um, very much anticipating the matches because you know you're gonna get your money's worth. Sure, it'll be long. They're always long. This one is actually, I think, starting at like 12 in the afternoon, Central Time, which is beautiful because that means even it's gonna be a shift. It's still gonna be a shift. It's probably gonna run the whole 8 hours because I think that's what it ran. No, maybe not. Maybe not. But I definitely was there almost 12 hours. I mean, almost 8 hours, if not the full eight, last year in Dallas. So it's very possible that um, this could be an 8 hour show as well. Um, and in hindsight, like I don't feel the show was 8 hours, but it was long. It was long. Even if you go back and watch it, it's long. So maybe it won't be. But I was there for 8 hours. Let's just say that. So we'll see how that goes. Still gonna be a marathon, but it's gonna be an early marathon, so you won't be up late. So that's a plus. Um, so we're gonna talk about what we're gonna focus on. Is there WWE stuff to focus on? Um, let's see. We had a few things. I hadn't really tuned in any WWE this week. Let's see what we got. I know on Raw the big thing was the Solo Sokoa. Um, I'm assuming that was supposed to be like an acknowledgement ceremony or something like that. And he ends up attacking Roman and the Usos, saving LA Knight. Um, Jacob Fatu is just kind of standing there. So there's some very interesting layers with what they're doing there. Um, so cool, whatever. Let's see what else we got. I'm reading the thing as we go. Is there anything of note happen? Uh, More Cass attacking Javon. Womp womp. We're doing this tournament leading for the AAA show to determine who is what was that? To determine who is Roman going to face in AAA. It's definitely going to be Penta. But we're going through all the motions to get there. We got a tournament going, so we had that. So Ruger beats Lyra. What else do we have? We're doing the Oba Braun Breaker thing. I hadn't watched. Oddly enough, I hadn't watched that um, segment at all. But so we're doing. I don't know when we're doing the match. Apparently, there's a contract signing for Sunday night's main event, or is the match going to be at Sunday night's main event? Maybe the match is going to be there. Let's see. Let's see what else we have. Chad Gable, Rey Mysterio for the Intercontinental title. Chad Gable wins. So yeah, that solo that bloodline thing was the most newsworthy thing coming out of Raw. We had SmackDown last night. I also have not watched any any clips on that. I do know what happened uh, from the results, somewhat, I should say. But I hadn't watched any clips like I normally have for SmackDown, so my review is gonna be a little light there too. Because we're not really leading anything. We're leading to like Sunday night's main event, which kind of inconsequential. Looks like we're gonna have Oba and Braun Breaker there. Probably gonna have Cody and Randy Orton, uh, and who knows what else. So there's that. And so yeah. Um, we had some stuff between Cody and Orton. More of that. MFT taking on Truth and Damian Priest for the tag team titles. MFT retains. We were supposed to get Julia and Blake Monroe. Apparently, Blake Monroe attacks Julia, hits her finishing move. We don't have the match. Later on, I know I did see the clip of Blake Monroe saying, "That's not my debut." When Chelsea Green comes back, tell her I'm waiting for her. Until then, she won't show us. So I guess she's saying that she deserves to be um, in the, I don't say main event, but the, whatever. Um, There's probably a really big difference between the Blake Monroe character and Tiffany Stratton, especially to what it's become. This feels kind of redundant a little bit to me, but whatever. I'm not. They don't all look alike. That's not what I'm saying. Uh, we get some stuff with Trick and Baron Corbin. That's another match that they've made for Sunday night's main event, which I think is going to be very interesting in what they're going to do there. Um, so apparently, what we've got now is if Lil Yachty can last 5 minutes with Baron Corbin, Trick Williams will get his rematch afterwards at Sunday night main event. So it'll be 5 minutes with Lil Yachty if he can survive, and if he does, then Trick gets his title shot. I would imagine that's when Trick gets the belt back because he's already had a rematch, and this would serve. And in Atlanta, Mr. Lemon Pepper Steppers, even though if that Trick is a Memphis thing, and I don't understand because they don't fuck with Memphis. A lot of people ain't fucking with Memphis no more, so it is what it is. Um, they ain't fucking with Memphis like they used to. They'll make their one little appearance and then they'll never show up again because you are missing. Whoop that Trick, Memphis, missing out on the money. Missing out on the money. I don't even know if it'll be money, but it'll be a moment. But whatever. Um, we get Lash Legend beating Tiffany Stratton. That's major. But I guess that is leading towards eventually the Nia Jax Chelsea Green match that we may be getting when Chelsea's recovered. That makes sense, I guess. Um, Shinsuke has been teasing that he is coming for the MFTs with this new tag team partner that was revealed, of course, to be Takahashi. They changed his name, of course, and I would have to look to see what is the new name. Because of course they have to change all the names. Because why not? Takahashi WWE Kiyoki. Kiyoki. Okay. So Chicken Time Bomb has made his way to WWE. He and Shinsuke Nakamura are now a tag team. There was a name for the tag team too, wasn't it? What? Yeah, yeah. I could have swore there was a tag team name too. Okay, maybe not. I'd have to watch it myself. I could have swore that was the name of the team. There was a team name in there too. All right, whatever. And in the main event, CM Punk retains against Kevin Owens after Sami Zayn hits him with the belt. Then he hit CM Punk with the belt as well. So, looks like we're moving towards the CM Punk Sami Zayn thing. Or maybe a triple threat situation. We got a couple of ways like we can go there. So, again, not sure because the next event is like Survivor Series in Houston, and that's in November. Uh, so I'm not sure. I'm sure there has to be. That's a long stretch to not have anything. No. I'm sorry. Money in the Bank. I forgot about Money in the Bank. No, Money in the Bank's the next thing, and I think that's in October. Yeah. So we move. Yeah. Okay. So we're moving to Money in the Bank. Um, then Survivor Series. That's what it is. All right. That's a very long stretch to not have an event. So that's where we are. Stuff is moving along. I'm not sure what we're heading towards, but stuff is moving along. Now that, not to be confused with what we're getting in AEW, because things are definitely reaching the crescendo heading towards All In. So let's talk about this. So I did not have a chance to watch Collision. I think I turned it on, and then I think I fell asleep. So that's my story. Um, I'm almost certain that's exactly what happened. I'm going to run through the results so we can move forward to Dynamite because I did watch Dynamite, and that's important because of where we're going next. So, opened up with the Trios Championship, Brodito taking on Lethal Twist, Hangman and Brodito taking on Lethal Twist. Of course, Hangman and Brodito win. That does something to my prediction that whatever was going to happen at All In was going to be like a 4-way, which it still could be. Because some interesting things happen on Dynamite. We'll come back to that. Because I thought if we did the 4-way, that it would be like the Demand, Lethal Twist, Hangman and Brodito, Swerve, and whoever his partners might be. So that's not what we're doing. Next up, another first round match in the Continental Cup. We had Brian Cage versus Hechicero. Hechicero got the win. Kind of figured that was going to be the case there. We had a tag team match, of course, Divine Dominion taking on Maserati and Rochelle Riveter. Divine Dominion, of course, wins. Brawling Birds attacked Divine Dominion after the match. So we're definitely full speed ahead on that. Another first round match, Nigel McGuinness versus Shibata. Nigel McGuinness takes the win. Now, apparently he was injured in this match, and I'm not sure if it was like legit injured or kayfabe injured. Not really sure. But he's still in the tournament. So I'm assuming kayfabe. And that actually strengthens my prediction for how this tournament is going to go going forward. Before I even go any further, I have said my initial prediction is that the finals are Nigel McGuinness and Moxley, and that's what we're getting in Wembley. And that makes a lot of sense. And probably would have Nigel win. He can lose it fairly quickly. But we Nigel's gonna have something at All In. He's gonna have something significant at All In. And Mox doesn't have anything to do. So of course he's gonna be defending the title because if he loses the title at any point leading up to All In, it doesn't. And what does he do at All In? So it's Mox, right? You're gonna have something, a money match, so to speak. What's the biggest thing you can do with Mox? That's not necessarily the question here, right? There's some other options. There was Jay White. I've seen people say Kyle O'Reilly. My plan B was Eddie Kingston. I'll come back to that as well. So, there were options of who else it could be, but Mox is going to be in the finals because I don't know if there's another place for Mox to be, right? Kyle O'Reilly kind of makes sense, but we've done that and kind of buttoned it up already. We know it's going to be a banger match because they keep having bangers, but it's already kind of buttoned up. But I wouldn't. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but it's just we've already kind of done that, and we've done it this year. Um, Jay White made sense, you know, especially considering Moxley talking about his disdain for the Bang Bang Gang on a previous collision. It was like 2 weeks ago now. So, okay, well, that made sense maybe to be the final. And we put the belt on Jay White. Big moment at Wembley. Okay, it made sense. Eddie Kingston, I think, was a solid option as well. Because, again, that's a marquee match that we haven't seen in a couple of years, especially since, like, the Death Riders really got it cooking. So, okay, that made sense. So again, there were options, but Nigel McGuinness makes the most sense to me. So sticking with that. All right. Moving on. We got Leo Rush and the Rascals squashing. Joe Braxton. That's definitely Joe. Ice Williams, Fresco Matic, and Watson. Okay. Leo Rush and the Rascals get the win. We got Hurt Syndicate and Shane Taylor Productions taking on Sonico, Willie Montana, Ro Montana, and Jake Redondo. Of course, Hurt Syndicate and Shane STP take the win there. Interested to see where that goes. It's going to be like a feud thing, or they're going to keep working together. Seems kind of, I don't know, it's interesting. We had Mercedes Monet taking on Zeta Steel. Of course, Mercedes Monet gets the win. And in the final first round match for the Continental Cup, we had Roddy Strong versus Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly gets the dub. Now, that leads us to Collision. Because again, remember, everyone who won these matches basically went back into the hat, and we had another blind draw for the next round. And this is where this gets interesting. Because again, a lot of people were picking Jay White, Mox in the finals for this. And it turns out, not going to happen. That is the next round. And it's interesting because it is kind of luck of the draw. Like, you can't really predict it the way that you really think you could. You can't look at a bracket and say, okay, well, yeah, this makes sense that it'll be this. It's random. So they could just hit you with it. And this is a perfect example because people had this as their final, and now it's not. Because either Mox was going to go forward or Jay White was going to do it. And listen, I keep saying, like, if Mox isn't in this match, I don't know what he's doing. But it wouldn't have been bad if he had lost. But he didn't. So let's talk these results. We open up with Will Ospreay and the United Empire, Akira and Hanare, taking on Don Callis family, Brian Cage, Rocky Romero, and Lance Archer. Of course, United Empire gets the win. The finish to that match was hilarious because for some reason, Rocky Romero did his little Asuka slide thing, and Will Ospreay just creamed him with a hidden blade. Because what are you doing? What are you doing, man? Stop. Stop it, idiot. We get words from Okada basically saying, uh, he wants the belt, the international title to stay in the family. And if Kyle wins, he'll be happy for him. But if he wins, he wants Kyle to be happy for him. Kyle Fletcher is out to the ring, basically popping this shit. Out comes Takeshita. Takeshita kicks his ass. Ends with Takeshita standing tall, holding up the title, I believe, which means that he's probably not winning. Kyle's probably coming out of that on top, I would think. For some reason, the TNT to international title thing, he felt like he didn't. It felt like it was a lateral move that we didn't have. But I don't know. Feel like we're in a weird holding pattern with Kyle a little bit because he was a TNT champion and then he lost it. and then he won it back. When he won it back, it was kind of like, well, that was when he won it back from like was it Mark Briscoe? Whoever was the TNT champion at the time, and it might have been Mark Briscoe, but not even somebody else. But whoever he won that back from, no, it was Ciampa. He beat Ciampa for it because Ciampa had it for like a week or something. And I was like, why would we do that? That was odd. Because and again, it just felt like, and then he got hurt again. And then so now Kevin Knight has it. So we're definitely doing the Kevin Knight thing. And so now we just made a lateral move to the international title. But that doesn't feel any higher stake or consequence than like the TNT title per se. And actually it's a bit of a downgrade, maybe. I don't know. I don't know where I rank those. Like some of these titles depend on who has the title. That's a thing too. It seems like Kevin Knight is being kind of played in the same position that Kyle Fletcher was when he was the TNT champion. So it feels like the TNT championship is a little bit higher seated than the international. But again, it depends on who has it. Again, when Kenny Omega had it, it was top tier, more or less. It was a main event when we unified the Continental and the international title, which again, that whole thing was silly. We should just kept it, but whatever. So I don't know. He's probably gonna keep so Kyle's probably gonna keep the international title. There's a definite split coming with the Don Callis family. It has to. And I thought that's where we were going before, but not. But okay, whatever. Who are me? Who are me? Put it up there. I'm rolling through this. Look at that. Next up, we had a little sit down between Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. Man, they were. Hey, they were. What is that? I don't even know what that is. Get shit out of here. Where my results go? Yeah, so we get Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega having a little bit of a sit down. They were pushing the buttons, taking the shots. There were some things being said there. Very, very great segment with these two. Basically detailing their history. Each one basically saying, stating their piece. Very strong. Kenny Omega being a bit of a smug heel. I've seen people say that it feels kind of out of nowhere that he felt like he had to be so heelish. And it kind of does, but I think I get it. You didn't want, it's Will Ospreay's home country. So, and they are, every Englishman dreams of wrestling at Wembley, right? So, Will's already going to be like the huge baby face there, but I do understand giving him even more fuel and more sympathy going in, because the more of a heel Kenny is, the less of a split. I mean, Kenny's going to get some cheers because he's Kenny Omega, and he's just so good, and he's kind of reverting to like the cleaner-esque ways, which is interesting because like now both times that you've been a champion, you've ended up a heel, which is interesting. You were a babyface when you won the title, and then you became a heel. Same thing, the same thing. Because he's definitely, if he's not a heel, he's acting heelish right now. So go figure. And I don't think this is the same, because even when he lost it the last time to Hangman, when he came back, he was a babyface, right? I think what happens here at the end, I think, we may get just a good handshake. The trilogy's over, basically. Will Ospreay has won out on top. He's the champion. Kenny, probably afterward, shakes his hand, raises his hand, leaves, and then that's, we're back to status quo. Yeah, so Kenny's being a prick. We love to see it. We love to see it. It was great. It was great. I'm not even gonna lie. Next up, we had a fatal four-way: Maya World, Chris Statlander, Persephone, Hikaru Shida for the TBS Championship. These were very very tough odds for Maya. And I don't think it gets us any closer to understanding what she's gonna do at All In. And they still haven't announced a women's casino gauntlet, which is strange. Because I think they should, but they haven't announced it. And they haven't done anything. They would have to announce it this week, have the matches on Dynamite and maybe Collision to determine the number one and number two entrants. Maybe they would just random it. Maybe they wouldn't even go through all that. It's an interesting thing that they haven't done that yet, and I know there are going to be more matches. I haven't even looked at the card lately, but I know they're going to announce more matches. And shocked that they have. That's not one of them that they've announced already. Unless they haven't, I just don't know it. But I haven't seen anything. I'll just go there because you want to be a little beach. All right, let's look into it. Let's do it. All right, put this card up. Yeah, so they hadn't really announced. They hadn't really announced anything else. Okay, yeah, they hadn't really announced anything else except for what's probably going to happen there. Come back to that. So, Maya retains the TBS championship. This was a really good match as well. Maya pinned Chris Statlander, oddly enough. So again, that's the only two women's matches we have right now are Mercedes and Willow, and the Brawling Birds and Divine Dominion. The only two women's matches we have on the card. I can assure you, there is no way those are the only two women's matches we have on this entire card. Again, at the very least, you would throw a gauntlet, the casino gauntlet there, and you have Maya World as the TBS champion, who I also think would deserve a match, defending her title there. But they hadn't built anything, so I'm not really sure. Last year there were only two matches. There was the World, there was Mercedes and Toni Storm, and then there was the Casino Gauntlet. But I highly doubt they would do that again this year. And there may have been something on the buy-in. I'm trying to remember what was even on the buy-in last year. But I can go look. Because I think we were there, but it doesn't stick out to me. Well, yes, I do know what it was. Just like Dustin. Yep, I remember it. So it was the Sons of Texas, Dustin Rhodes, Sammy Guevara, and the Von Erichs taking on STP. Big Boom AJ and the Conglomeration taking on Don Callis family. FTR and the Outrunners. Yeah. Which is strange for the pre-show, but they had a huge part later on in the show during the tag match. Dustin and Sammy also had a huge part again later in the show. So a lot of that changed with the Adam Coastal. So okay, all right. Still didn't have any women's matches. That's crazy. So yeah, there were only the two. There was a women's gauntlet in the women's world match. Again, I don't think they would do that this year. We'll see. We'll see. We shall see. Back to Dynamite. So, as I stated, we had Jon Moxley, Jay White. What a lot of people thought would be the final. Turns out not to be the final. Jon Moxley gets the win. This match could have been the final. Probably would have been a little longer, obviously. Would have been a lot more to it, but could have been the final. It was that good of a match in and of itself. Jon Moxley, of course, gets the win. The Dogs come in to jump Jay White. We get a brawl between them. Did Mox come back in and get involved? I don't recall. So this segmented. This is where I said things got all over the place, right? So the Dogs come in to jump Jay White. The Death Riders come out. The Conglomeration comes out, which I think was just Roddy and Kyle O'Reilly. So everybody's brawling. Then out comes Hangman and Brodito. Then the Demand come out. So Hangman's like, hey, all y'all out here, you feeling froggy, meet us at Wembley. Is this where the... No, okay, that's not where it happened. So maybe it was in that segment. Okay. That makes sense. So maybe in that segment. So then at some point, because it didn't, my results don't say what I needed to say. So at some point we get Swerve in the package video backstage. And yo, Hangman, you say anybody? Be careful what you wish for. And he walks off. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. And I don't want to say that it's happening, because if I say that it's happening, and I'm going to be disappointed when it doesn't happen. But it's happening. And they know we know it's happening. That's why it's going to happen. They know that we know it's going to happen. It's happening. They're going to do the thing. I may get emotional. I don't even know why, but I may get emotional. I got to get me like a chair that I can sit in front of my TV, or like maybe if I could hook up like my sound system in here. I don't know. I need to get my watching situation together for All In, because just forget it. Just forget it. I'm gonna be very excited. Backstage, Willow gives my world title shot this Saturday. I don't know if that's already been recorded or not. Probably so. Next up, Jonathan Cruz comes out. He says, hey, he's MJF's translator. He calls out Andrade, or talks some shit about Andrade. Andrade comes out, kicks his ass real quick, tells MJF to come out. MJF is like, hey, he's via satellite. He ain't got anything to say. He's going to kick Andrade's ass at All In. Andrade hits his finisher on Cruz again, and we're out. Quick segment, just building up the casino battle. It's not even casino battle royal, casino gauntlet. So that's that. Next up, we get an interview segment between Willow and Mercedes. They're in different rooms. They're not face to face like Kenny and Will. They're in different rooms. Again, amazing that they did the same thing, essentially, just completely different presentation and outcome. It don't take much. Doesn't take much. So Mercedes accuses Willow of being a bully. So they're jawing back at each other. Willow's like, no, you know what? Look at all this. It's up. You in the building. I'm coming to find you. So now she's walking through, trying to trying to find Willow. Trying to find Mercedes. Mercedes catches her. Now we're brawling. We out to the ring. We got a full on pull apart brawl. It is up because it's stuck. Yo, again, when I say I've seen people say it's me traversing the internet, social media. I've seen people say that they think that the build for Willow and Mercedes has been better than the build for Kenny and Will. I think they're both equally very well done. Very, very well done. This one is probably Willow and Mercedes is probably more well done than Tony and Mercedes from last year. Because there's so much more history, it might be more well done than the Tony Mercedes one. I'm not sure. Kenny and Will, again, both of those matches have so much history behind them because it's not like a first time meeting for either of them, but it's probably the most important. It's definitely, I want to say it's probably the first for Kenny and Will since both of them were in AEW. The first one was at like Wrestle Kingdom, I think, and Kenny was in AEW and Will was in New Japan. The second one was Forbidden Door, same thing. This is the first time here, and the stakes are at the highest that they've ever been. Same thing with Mercedes and Willow. They faced each other plenty of times. The stakes are at the highest they have ever been. Both, I mean, what more can you say? What more can you say? They both feel personal. They both feel, like I said, the stakes are super high. The history is there. Oh, love it. Next up, another Continental Cup quarterfinal. Nigel McGuinness, Hechicero. You know, I've said Hechicero is one of my favorite technical wrestlers, one of my favorite new people that I've discovered from CMLL. Because he's not just a high flyer, or he doesn't, but the things he does are so creative and so different. There's a lot of stuff I've seen him do. I'm like, I've never seen that before. So definitely a big thing there. We playing the angle of Nigel McGuinness's injury, and that being a focal point for Hechicero. And he played it up through the whole match. Only for Nigel McGuinness to come back, ultimately get the submission win on Hechicero. Again, I think this plays into my predicted final. Because again, you got Nigel McGuinness, who already going into All In, if he were to get to the finals anyway, going against Mox, he was already going to be an underdog, right? But if you got an injured Nigel McGuinness going against a shark like Jon Moxley, because that's blood in the water. Ultimate underdog of ultimate babyface, and Nigel pulls that off, Wembley goes up. Wembley goes up probably just as much as they will go up for Will winning in the main event. I think because you want the moment, that's a moment. And I don't know if Nigel hadn't won a lot since he's come back. And especially not like he had those matches. He's had matches in Wembley. I don't think he's won anything in Wembley. So, because I had Forbidden Door last year, I think it was. Did we do Zack Sabre versus Nigel? I think it was last year. So he didn't win then. He was in like the Casino Gauntlet when he actually returned. I think that was a couple of years ago. So he had one of those matches with, that wasn't like a Forbidden Door, but he had the tag match with Daniel Garcia versus FTR. So again, he's due for a win. I would give it to him. He can lose it right back, I think, but you want the moment, I think you put the belt on Nigel McGuinness in Wembley at All In against Moxley. I think that's the story. We'll see. Next up, Kevin Knight is in the ring with Tony Schiavone. Darby Allin comes out. So just like, hey, stay there before you come down here. Stay there. Security come check him on and make sure he don't have no weapons and nothing crazy on him. Nobody comes down. Darby's like, I ain't got nothing on me. He opens his jacket. I ain't got nothing on me. Jet's like, well, come on to the ring then. Darby's kind of like, kind of standing there. He's hesitating, oddly hesitate. And all of a sudden, there's this huge pyro explosion. If you recall the Jeff Hardy thing, you had to have been a fan at least since like 2009, because I think that's when this happened, or maybe late 2008. The pyro thing that happened to Jeff Hardy when he comes down, his pyro goes awry, and it blows into him basically. Very similar thing there. Soon as that happens, Darby's kind of rolling down the ramp. Jet takes the title basically. He goes on the attack. He's giving Darby the business, throws him in the ring, sets him up, chair in the face, coast to coast, knocks Darby out. Darby's carried out on the stretcher. On the way out, Steve Borden Jr., son of Sting, El Hijo de Sting, I don't know what we're going to call him, is walking Darby out because I think Darby's been training Darby trains a lot of these people. It's odd to say. A lot of people he has hand in training a lot of people. Had a hand in training Nick Wayne, hand in training probably AR Fox maybe, or at least he had a history with AR Fox. Had a hand in training Jet, had a hand now in training Steve Borden. Darby's training a lot of people. That's interesting. He's standing there. Kevin's following him out as they're rolling him out on the stretcher. Borden wants to kind of get at him. Darby's like, nah, not yet. Now, apparently, he has actually signed a contract with AEW. He's been working a lot of dark matches. Now, he has actually signed with AEW. So, that's an interesting dynamic as well. There's a lot of conversation about him, Avery Styles, the son of AJ Styles, the whole setting up the ring and all of that. I don't really have an opinion, so I'm not going to speak on it. I don't. It's odd, but I definitely don't. I just don't. I'm sorry, I don't. Main event time. Again, we got to tie stuff together, right? Interesting. So, Kenny Omega and the Bucks taking on, again, Don Callis family. This time it's El Clone, Mark Davis, Jake Doyle. Davis and Doyle are back together again as a tag team. I don't know if they're back together tag team, but it's first time of them doing, and they should be. They should be, because Davis isn't national champion anymore. So they should be back to a tag team. They could even be a trio. I wouldn't mind a meat trio. Davis, Doyle, and Cage as a trio. I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate it at all. So, Elite gets the win, of course. And then everything goes off the rails. Don Callis family comes out after the match. They attack the Bucks. Out come Colt and Cage to make the save. Now, Colt comes down. Cage is kind of hesitant. So finally, he sees they getting the best of Colt. Cage comes down. He's helping out. He's holding somebody. I don't know exactly who it was. He's holding somebody back, waiting for the Bucks to get the super kick. Of course, he moves. Christian Cage takes the super kick, the double super kick. Colt is like, yo, what the hell? So somehow, everybody gets taken out. Everybody disappears. Will Ospreay's in the ring. Kenny Omega's in the ring by himself. So now Will Ospreay's out. Because the last thing that Kenny Omega said in that segment earlier was about, hey, your son probably is going to want a new hero after I beat you. That kind of sending Will off the thing. So when Will comes back out, he's like, so tell me what you got to say about my son again, son. What you say about my son? What you say about my son? It's up for you, B. What you say about my son? So, yeah. So Omega's like, yo, I only got one word to say to you. Security! 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 Bring it down. So out comes security. Will Ospreay's like, all right. Oh, you know, it's cool. It's cool. I'm leaving. Then Kenny's talking shit. He's like, yeah, you little bitch. Will Ospreay's like, bitch? Who you calling a bitch? Now Will Ospreay rushes the ring. But as he gets in the ring, security grabs him, is holding Will Ospreay back. Kenny hits him, V trigger. Boom. So now Kenny is attacking security, telling him to get out of the ring. I don't need you. I don't need you. I don't need you. And next thing you know, Kenny Omega lifts up Will Ospreay, one-winged angel, through a table. Kenny is looking like a madman. The cleaner has returned. Cinema. Listen, they're doing the things, man. They are doing the things. I'm hyped. I am hyped for All In. And the thing, the card isn't even done. What we have right now, if they stopped, that'd be great. Except we need another women's match, I think. There's a lot of women not on this card who deserve to be on this card. So they definitely need to rectify that. But, because, like, where's Tekla? Thunder Rosa. I mean, she hadn't been doing a lot, but she deserved to be on the card. Sisters of Sin deserve to be there. Stat deserves to be there. Sheeta deserves to be there. Even Persephone. A lot of women in this who deserve to be on this card aren't on this card. So they do need to add that. But if you just stop where we are, we got 9 matches made. Same matches, same 8 that we had before. Willow, Mercedes, Kenny, Will, Cajun Colt versus the Bucks. The Casino Gauntlet. The Continental Cup Final. Women's Tag, Divine Dominion, Brawling Birds. Kevin Knight, Darby Allin, Falls Count Anywhere. Triple threat match for the International Championship. Kyle Fletcher, Takeshita, Okada. And now they're listing Hangman Adam Page and Brodito versus to be announced. And it's listed as a multi-trios match for the World Trios Championship. One thing I forgot to mention when I talked about the dogs coming out to attack Jay White and the conglomeration, Gabe Kidd made his return as well. So the dogs are back at full strength. So they probably would definitely be involved in whatever. I don't know what the match is actually going to be or who's going to be in this match. Because it could be a few teams. I said 3-way, 4-way ladder match thing. It might just be, I don't even know what this could be. So that's intriguing in and of itself. So we just had those 9 matches. That's a long enough card as is. It's going to be longer. Again, I at least think there's a TBS championship match in there. Or they would do the gauntlet and she would be in there, but I think that'd be kind of, you know. What else do we got? So we got International, Continental, TNT. And all these matches are for titles or title shots. So we don't even have any. That's an interesting thing there. All these matches are for titles. But there are a lot of people who deserve to be on the show. Leo Rush should be on the show. He's had a good year. So, I don't know. But I am definitely looking forward to All In. And then where do we go from there? I'm not making any predictions, even though I think everything on here is um, pretty cut and dry, but maybe not. We'll see. I'm again excited. I'm excited for the main event matches. Um, and that trios championship match, is going to make. Because who knows? What is it going to look like? What is it going to be called? Oh man, what is it going to be called? Who's going to do their theme? Is it going to be cool? I don't know. I'm so excited. Sorry. So, All In is coming. Sunday night's main event with WWE. I don't even know when that is. When is that? When is that? So I can tell you. And it's in Atlanta. And back in the day, I would have actually gone to. I would have gone to this one, Labor Day weekend. So it's the day that Money in the Bank was supposed to be in New Orleans, but they moved that date to October the 10th. So this is the makeup. They're doing their Sunday night's main event. Couldn't have done anything else. Could have just made a pay-per-view. All right. That is September the 6th. Okay. So I don't know if I understood the Baron Corbin Lil Yachty thing necessarily. Because it does say if Lil Yachty lasts for 5 minutes, Trick Williams will receive a rematch for the United States Championship against Corbin. But is it in the same night? Because that would make sense. Or is it at a future date? I'm not sure. And of course, the guy Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Oba and Braun Breaker as well. And that is Labor Day weekend, it says. Okay. Also, all right then. Are they? No, they're not. They are not counter programming anything. What else do we have here? All right. So yeah. So that's the sitch. So looking very forward to the things we have coming up. Then we got All Out Chicago, which I do intend to be at. I haven't got tickets yet, but I'll be there. I'll be there. I'll be in the area. Probably for the majority of that weekend. That is a Saturday. So either I will stay. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We'll talk about that when we get there. And I might even do that episode from. I'm going to have to, right? I'm going to have to do the episode from Chicago. That'll be neat. So, that being said, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Talking About Wrestling. We are on the road to All In. We're on the road to Sunday night's main event, I guess. Then we're on the road to All Out. We're on the road to 50 subscribers. We just rolling. It's rolling. Okay, I don't even know why I do that because it's whatever. So again, thanks for tuning in. Again, I'm your host, the Untouchable J.R. Atkins. This is the Black Fitness Network, and this is Talking About Wrestling. Again, make sure that you like, share, subscribe. Hopefully you like what you're seeing. Hopefully you watched me rant and rave about Dynamite, WWE. Thanks. So, all that being said, until next time, we are